Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Better Call Saul. This one was Better Call Saul, Season 1, Episode 3, which is called Nacho. Conscience gets expensive, doesn't it? Here's Johnny. So, spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen Better Call Saul, 103 yet. You probably want to watch it before you watch this review. So, that said, you guys know if you've seen my first two reviews for I almost said Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. And it's funny that I do that because it's so similar to Breaking Bad, but yet it's different and it has its own fun, unique qualities that are different from Breaking Bad. I feel like Better Call Saul is closest to probably the first season of Breaking Bad, where the show kind of started off as a black comedy. That kind of morphed over the seasons into more drama. By the end, it was almost totally drama. There's still some funny parts here and there, especially with Saul and Jesse and the others, Badger and the others, throughout the series, as well. But it definitely, as it got more serious with Walt as it went through because of the style of story that it was, of course, him having cancer and everything like that. So with Better Call Saul, man, just a lot of fun because it has that same kind of feel. But yet Saul is a different character, or Jimmy McGill is a different character. I usually call him Saul, even though either one is correct, really, right? His original name, of course, James or Jimmy. So McGill. The thing about it is that it feels more dramatic to me because I feel like Saul is such a weak character in terms of physical prowess. When you have Nacho and he's sitting in the interrogation scene and he's just giving him this gaze, he's just looking at him. He's not saying anything. And then when he slams the cuffs down or the hands down on the table, you just feel so scared for Saul, for Jimmy, because you know that he's not Walt. He doesn't have everything figured out. He's not a chess master where he's got every next step figured out. Regardless of what happens, he'll have an answer for it. Even though in Breaking Bad there's some really intense stuff, of course, and by the end you guys know how it all ends up. But I'm saying that in terms of like the feeling as a viewer, you don't feel that way for Saul or for Jimmy because he's kind of a screw up. He's kind of lackadaisical. He doesn't think about all the different angles, and he gets in over his head constantly, which is fun. I also really liked, aside from Nacho, the Kettlemans too as characters. I just thought that they were a really great couple of villains, I would say. I would call them villains, sort of, I get. Yeah, I would. To start off the show, they're perfect for Better Call Saul. They're clean cut. They're singing bingo. They're like camping, and they're like clapping and doing the whole ritualistic camping bingo thing, right? Then they got the bag of money, and it's like and the psychology of it is so brilliant because you could picture a couple like this in the real world exactly like that. Where they've got this money, they have no ability to protect it. They don't know what they're doing. They know the law's coming after them. Everybody's coming after them. Then they get a call in the middle of the night, and they do see that someone's watching them. So they figure they're so smart. They figure they're able to kind of trick everybody because they did before when they stole the money. And they got this hot potato that they don't want to lose. And even if they're willing to, because what use is money if you're just going to go out in the woods and just go camping with it? I mean, you might as well use it like The Walking Dead, for example, right? Because we talk about The Walking Dead all the time. What use is money? You might as well use it for starting fires or something. I don't know. It loses its value. So for the Kettlemans too, unless they're willing to disappear, and they've got kids, so it's not that easy. They've got this hot potato, and they're just out in the woods, like camping there, protecting this hot potato, because they have it, but yet there's nothing they can really. Like what can they do with it unless they disappear and they're not willing to kind of leave home. So there's that. Really funny that here's Johnny line. I almost fell out of my chair. It was so awesome. In addition to that, I really love how they've kind of they've just crafted the series so far. Even though we're only 3 episodes in, just masterfully. You have this relationship with Mike and Saul, which we, at first it seems like they throw him in there just to be a reference to Breaking Bad. But now we're getting to see how he actually is, an intricate part of this story as it's going through, because he's given Saul his experience, because obviously, we can tell he's older and everything, he's a senior citizen, right? Clearly older than when he was in Breaking Bad, but nevertheless, there's nothing you can do about that. They do their best to try to make them look younger, but he's giving Saul his expert experience of, being a police officer and everything that he's been through and being such, just having that, so many years of experience, just the wisdom that he has to break down this family just by hearing about them and telling them about a case that was similar, almost like he's got an archetype that he's figured out, that these people match. So right away, he's got them figured out. He's like, yeah, that's going to be the archetype. They probably are, really close by to where they actually were. They probably staged the whole thing. So I really liked it. I thought it was awesome, and it wasn't clear to see until we started to see it all come through until the end. Halfway through, I'm thinking, okay, so did another gang hear about this or have an idea to go and get them first before Nacho was able to do it? What happened exactly, right? So, aside from that, it was also funny when it's hard for me to mention all the different funny moments in the show and little intricacies and things they've done, because it's just so awesome. We had the scene with the poop-filled diaper. And and how that worked into everything else with Mike was just really funny and brilliant. Then, in addition to that, earlier on in the episode, you have the scene where the other lawyer who Jimmy is constantly badgering to give him deals or to make deals with him is in the can, and Saul is like. Saul's like talking to him while he's in the can. This is how persistent Saul is. He won't let him take a deuce without sitting there badgering him about a case, even though the guy doesn't even know what case Saul is trying to talk to him about, because he's obviously preoccupied. And then after, okay, I guess he knows he's been caught, that he doesn't even know what Saul's talking about. So he decides he'll go along with the 90 days. So another awesome episode, definitely a great 3-episode start. So many tie-ins to Breaking Bad, but ones that don't feel like just cameos. They feel natural. They feel like this belongs in this series. This belongs in the story. This makes sense for what they're doing, rather than just, they put this person in because he was in Breaking Bad, or they put that person in because he was in Breaking Bad. No, they've crafted them in such a way where they make sense to the story. In addition to that, you've got all the fun stuff going on with Saul. You've got him being clunky at first, when he's on the phone and stuff, he's calling. He hasn't figured all this stuff out yet. He's in that kind of experimentation stage where he doesn't have everything down, the opposite of where Mike's at, where he's got that wisdom, he knows everything, right? And we can kind of see later on some of the lines that Saul says, like the conscience becoming expensive and all that and things like that. You can see where he's at in Breaking Bad and kind of this beginning stages. It's like it's solidifying in our minds as a viewer why he knows the things he knows in Breaking Bad. Why does he say lines like conscience becomes expensive, doesn't it? When this whole chain reaction, comes and he almost, Nacho, if he doesn't find his family and they get away, Nacho is going to kill him for sure. So expensive, price of life, there's no greater price to pay, basically, right? Almost none. So just all in all, I've loved the premiere of Better Call Saul. I've loved the first 3 episodes. In terms of a score for this one, I'm going to give this one a really solid 9.5 out of 10. I just really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was funny. It was scary, dramatic. You really feel for him. You see the Nacho looking at him, and it's just, man, they've got such a good mix with this show. They've just hit a great mix, and I feel like you're seeing guys that, of course, because they worked on Breaking Bad for so many years, this team, seeing the same team on Better Call Saul, they just got it figured out right off the bat, and they're starting the show out at the beginning in such a well-crafted manner that you can tell these guys have got their stuff down, and they're just getting started. When most shows, you've got the crew figuring things out. With Better Call Saul, it's like you've got masters of their craft, starting a new story. And, as a fan of Breaking Bad, it's just amazing to see. So let me know what you guys thought about Nacho Episode 3 and kind of the end of the Kettleman story arc and where the show's going to go from here, man. I'm so excited for it. I'm glad they're doing 2 seasons, and I wonder about the prospect of how many seasons they could get. Do you think they could get 5 seasons of Better Call Saul? I think they can. I think they can. And I think if it continues like this, I can see that for sure, or even more. Well, wouldn't it be crazy if Better Call Saul had more seasons than Breaking Bad? Wouldn't that be something? I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, 2 seasons ordered so far, so I'm excited for at least those 2, and I'm already satisfied with what they've shown us already. Great show. So let me know what you guys thought. Write your comments below. If you want to help out the channel, you like the review, go ahead and like it, favorite it. If you want to share it, if you've got a Facebook or Google Plus, you want to share it, I would appreciate it. It helps out the video and the channel and everything. And if you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to put a button right there. Poof. And see you guys next week for the Better Call Saul review of episode 4. That's it for this one. See you for the next one. Trev, same peace, guys.